Good morning. It's a beautiful day in Istanbul. My name is Eric Annan. I'm from a beautiful country called Ghana. How many of you know Ghana? Have you been there before? Great. So I come from a continent called Africa, and it's a beautiful continent. 54 countries, 40 plus currencies. Can you imagine that? 40 plus currencies. And interestingly, I speak English. Then you go to the east side of the border, is Togo. They speak French. If you go to the west, Ivory Coast, they speak French. The north, Burkina Faso, they speak French. So after the east, Togo, you have Benin, French. Then the next person is Nigeria, which happens to be the biggest and the largest black nation on earth. They speak English. So just imagine you have CD, which is my currency, and your neighbor, which is Togo, just 4 hours drive from Accra to Togo, and you cannot send money to your neighbor. How frustrating that could be. Have you ever experienced that? Imagine you are in the US, you live in New York, and you have to think about, how do I send money to my friend in maybe California? Have you ever had that nightmare? No. That's our reality in Africa. Until crypto, everything changed. Today, people like me are able to access global financial tools and able to interact globally without a need to move from my continent. But you see, the story is not, full. Africa has gone through different stages. But the good news is, Africa is going to be the largest continent in the world in terms of population by the end of this century. So my story is very simple. I got to crypto 2016, and the story was not too pleasant. I lost all my savings because I got introduced to crypto in the wrong way, through scams. I didn't know, but I didn't give up because when I read the Bitcoin white paper then, I realized that, for the first time, I can be able to interact financially with my neighbors in Africa without need to go to a bank. So you're in Africa and you want to send money to your neighbor in Kenya. You need to go to bank, buy US dollars in Africa. Does it even make sense? I'm not in the US. What do I need dollars in Africa? But that's our reality. But today, the story changed. So even though I lost money, I still was resilient. I saw opportunity to change the narrative for a continent that has the youngest people in the world. And it's going to be more than that by the next 8-10 years. So my story is very simple. The journey to train 1 million Web3 builders, the African narrative to shape global Web3 adoption. I want to make a strong case here. Web3 has no use in the US beyond ETF, investment, and making money. Web3 has no use case in Singapore, in China, but Web3 is a need in the global south, where I come from. Latin Africa is not a nice to have, it's actually a need. And therefore, if you're a builder and you're building Web3 and you have not yet figured out how do I really get adoption, knowing about Africa, that I'm sorry, you are just building something that it's a fun for you, just to satisfy your pleasure. But if you want to solve the problem, it's Africa, Latin, not in the US. And let's the game start. Web3 for 1 billion people start in Africa and Latin, not in the US. So what is 0 to 1 mission in Africa? I've already told you that we are the youngest continent, but in the last 15 years, a lot of this innovation emanates from US, Asia, and mostly some parts in Europe. So when you look at the human part, I'm an entrepreneur that is on a mission. I'm not the entrepreneur that wants to become a billionaire overnight. I'm an entrepreneur that believes in impact. And what is impact? Because my background is about impact. I did my master's in developing communication. And part of my thesis is to understand how to measure what really matters. And to measure what really matters, you have to think from bottom up, not top down. So usually you go to conferences and people come, oh, we have the best technology. We are going to onboard 1 billion people. It's macro to micro. It doesn't work. If you really want to onboard 1 billion people, you need to start from the bottom up. So my mission is 0 to 1. And what is 0 to 1? Very simple. So you see on this picture, you have a young man called Vitalik Buterin. Who knows Vitalik? How many of you know Vitalik? We all know Vitalik. Today we are here, Dev Connect, through the inspiration and idea. So this young man was introduced to computer at a tender age. That is his picture, that one there. How did I get it? I got it 4 months ago in Zuzalu. I was in Zuzalu in Montenegro, where we went to a university in Montenegro, and Vitalik shared his story, how he became a computer genius and a technologist. I picked that one. I said, wow, this speaks to me on my mission. So all you need is to have an idea. But the idea is not enough. You need propellers. You need activators. You need builders and support to be able to get your idea become global. So Vitalik just didn't have an idea, oh, I want to build Ethereum. He had people who believed in him, the likes of Peter Thiel. Because Vitalik went through Peter Thiel incubation. And that is how Vitalik, through his ideas and vision, we are all here today. Consensus is the power of Ethereum, making it real through product building. So Vitalik's idea is an inspiration, so from childhood to accomplishment. And there's another young man there. Do you see that picture? It's an African young man. He's in Lagos. He's the founder of a company called Web3 Bridge. He single-handedly has built one of the most active builders, Web3 builders in Nigeria. Matter of fact, StackNet today has more contributors in Lagos than they have in Asia through this young man. And the story is just getting started. So what is this mission? If you really want to build a solution, a technology that really shapes the future of decentralization, then we need to have access to more builders. The more builders we have, the easier it is for them to innovate, understand their own context, not to build a product from Singapore or from US and then saying, oh, we are looking for users in Africa. No, you need to build African builders because they understand. How many of you uses a phone called feature phone? The last 5 years, have you ever used feature phone? Do you know there are more people using feature phone in Africa today? So if you build a product that does not have feature phone, USSD, interaction, then I don't know who you are building for. And therefore, for you to really build a technology that works, you need to work with local builders. So we need more builders, and that builders, we need to train them in Africa. That's 0 to 1 mission. Do you know, by the next 20 years, we are going to have more young people in Africa than you have in China and in India combined? Are you aware? Data is there. That's going to happen. And if you don't have these numbers, why don't we enable them, be innovative, be creators? We can only do that when we empower them by training, give them basic training like Solidity, smart contract writing, product design, product managers, such that they can become builders, founders, and enable adoption, and the technology can actually become global use. Our vision is very simple. Economic innovation and growth fueled by a borderless talent infrastructure. I don't need to travel to Silicon Valley to work. COVID made remote work become global, acceptable norm today. It's no more a nice to have. It's the option today. Therefore, accessing global talent should not be where you are. It's about value you can create. And I can tell you, the African talent do not only have the skill, they have resilience. Do you know resilience? Imagine you are in Africa, for example, you are in Ghana, and you wake up, long traffic, you finish university, 4 years, no job. Sometimes you don't have access to electricity. Sometimes. How painful that could be. I'm not sure any of you here have experienced that in your country. But most people, young people in Africa, sometimes water, food, basic need of Maslow the basic need of life, food, shelter, clothing, continue to be some challenges for many young people in Africa, which is why we believe through this we can enable more people to have access, not just access, be able to create value and stay in Africa without the need to travel through the Mediterranean Sea and die. So simple, what are our solutions? So my startup called Aya, we are on a mission to really advance Web3 by unlocking the power of African talent through skill development and technical innovation. And that is our mission. In the last 18 months, we've trained more than 120 in smart contract engineering. We've exposed more than 2,000 young people to Web3. And today, in September, we organized the largest Web3 hackathon in Africa. And guess what? More than 18 projects were built. Today, some of them want to take it to market. And that's how we believe Web3 can really take shape in the world. So these are some of the things that we have done. Last year, Coinbase gave us a little grant to say, okay, you want to train people. Get this grant, let's test. Guess what? We wanted to just have 100 people. We opened up application. We had over 4,000 applications from 33 countries in Africa. That was young people were looking for where, how to get access. There were none until Aya came in. And today, people and every day, they are just going to our website, I want to get this training. We are on the second cohort. We had over 3,000 applications, and we want to graduate 100 because we don't have all the resources to go mass scale. So we can only do that much based on our resources that we have. But with the support of this community, I believe we can be able to have 10,000 people trained in the next 6 months because we have the people, we have the readiness and the ability to do this. Let's create magic together. Some of the amazing feedback we've so far received from young people from Zimbabwe, Zambia, Kenya, Nigeria, Togo, Egypt, and what have you. But I will not end. I want to play this.
My name is Kelvin Challenger, and I'm the lead blockchain engineer at Aya, and this is my journey. So I got into the space out of curiosity on how the blockchain technology works under the hood. Fortunately, I came across Aya's sponsorship for Consensus Blockchain Developer Bootcamp for 2021. I gave it a shot, registered, and fortunately I got a space. And it was quite the boost that I needed into becoming a blockchain engineer. So I got the Ethereum blockchain developer certification, and it was quite a fun ride and challenging sometimes, but it is the challenges that solidify the hands-on experience that I now have within this space. Now, because I was grateful, I had to tell Aya that I finally did it. I'm a certified Ethereum developer. Fortunately, they had plans for me, and the plans led me to become the lead blockchain engineer as I am today. I won't stop with the excitement. I can't stop because greater days are coming. Thank you.
Thank you. And that is the story of Kevin from Zimbabwe. I've never met him before. He did an internship with her for 6 months. Today, he's working with a big bank in Zimbabwe. Without that training, this young man perhaps would not have that opportunity. So imagine your support to millions of young people to have access to this opportunity. The next opportunity for us is to build a hacker house. There are several hacker houses in different parts of the world. 54 countries in Africa. Hardly see any hacker house. We're on a mission to put a physical hacker house because virtual is great, but nothing beats in-person interactions. 3 needs that we need. We need mentorship, we need access to resources, and all we need is your support to turn raw gems into valuable gems across Africa. Thank you.